There we go. So, and the next part of this definition is here. Sarva padi vanir muktam tatparatvain nirmalam rishikena rishikesha sevanam bhaktir uchate. Bhakti, or devotional service, means engaging all our senses in the service of the Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Master of all the senses. When the spirit soul renders service unto the Supreme, there are two side effects. One is freed from all material designations, and one's senses are purified simply by being employed in the service of the Lord. So, quick review from last time. We looked at these 6 characteristics of pure devotional service and what stages they are manifest. We looked at the definition of the terms Kleshagni and Shubhada. We explained the 4 kinds of effects of sin and how devotional service has the power to nullify all kinds of sinful reactions. And we discussed how Krishna conscious movement is the highest welfare activity. So in particular, last time we reviewed 6 characteristics of pure devotional service. First being Kleshagni, brings immediate relief from all kinds of material distresses. These are the reactions due to sins made in our previous life, or in this life. And there are different reactions that are dormant, manifesting, and fully experienced. Shubhada, beginning of all auspiciousness, the development of all auspicious qualities in the devotee, and compassion. Moksha Gutakrit, the happiness of devotional service derives even the conception of liberation, which is very insignificant to the devotee. Sudurlabha, rarely achieved. So, pure devotion to Krishna is rarely achieved because it must be awarded by Krishna and is not available by any other path except by bhakti. Sandarananda Visheshatma automatically puts one in transcendental pleasure. That pleasure is so great, it is highly condensed spiritual bliss that is 1 trillion times the experience of Brahman happiness, the spiritual energy, is not even 1 atomic particle of what one experiences in pure devotional service. And Sri Krishna Karshani, pure devotional service is the only means to attract Krishna. He's not attracted by any other process. So again here, quickly.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Pranam.
Dandavad Pranam. Thank you for joining.
Prabhuji, are you putting the slides also?
I thought I was. They're not showing?
No.
Let me do this again. Okay. Okay, let's see if this, is that any better? I don't know.
I only see the first
I can't see.
slide. That's
You can't
Prabhupada's
see it?
picture.
What did I do wrong here? I'm doing share, and okay, let me see here.
Prabhuji, there is that select item to share, right? Are you using that one?
What is it?
There is one picture called select item to share.
Yeah. Well, I've got sharing this application, sharing automatically new items. Okay, let me see. Okay, I think I selected the wrong one. Oh wait, let me just undo this one. Let's see. Oh, let me see here. I see. Okay, wait, 1 second. See, that's what we're doing. Okay, there we go. So I'm sorry, I was moving through on the wrong screen, so I was seeing the changes, but you were not. My apologies. So, 6 characteristics of pure devotional service. During sadhana bhakti, one will...
It says it's paused. The screen sharing is paused.
It's paused. Okay, we'll try this again. Shoot. Resume. There we go. How's that?
Yeah, and that's good.
Okay. We're going to get this sooner or later. So during the process of sadhana bhakti, one characteristic that is experienced is kleshagni, freedom from all kinds of distresses. And the second one is shubhada, auspiciousness, all auspiciousness, different auspicious qualities of demigods manifest in the devotee. And let's see, and then in bhava bhakti, moksha gutakrit, the happiness is experienced, derives that happiness or exceeds that happiness of moksha. Sudurlabha is very rare to achieve this happiness and experience of pure devotional service. And finally, in prema bhakti, one experiences Sandrananda Visheshatma, very intense bliss.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, sorry to bother you. It's still not moving. The screen's not moving.
All right, there's maybe one more thing I have to do. Okay. Strange. Is that it? Well, now what do you see?
The sadhana bhakti. Oh, the 6 characteristics. Number 1 is new only we see.
Maybe can you try the slideshow? The PowerPoint, the slideshow.
Yeah, share the next Prabhu.
Yeah, we're going back and forth here. Okay. I'm sorry, I'm just kind of losing track of what I did here. Okay, is that right?
Yeah, now please move the slide. It's not moving again. You have to, I think, click the desktop. There were options. Click the whole thing. So everything is shared, yeah. Yeah, now it's moving, good. I think it's good now.
So, kleshagni, material suffering.
Moving. Thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah. That is experienced, of course, in beginning. All our sufferings are destroyed. Immediately all kinds of material distresses gets relieved by devotional service. 3 causes of suffering: sinful reactions, material desires, and ignorance. So these causes our sufferings. Ignorance leads to material desires, and material desires lead to sinful reactions. So, again, the stages of development of Krishna consciousness. In the beginning, there's a little shraddha, a little faith, that let me see what this Krishna consciousness is all about. Then one desires to associate with devotees, thinks they're nice people and they have a good process, let me experience what they're doing. Then, when bhajana kriya develops, he wants to actually take up the process personally, devotional service. And then he starts working towards getting initiated by a spiritual master. Then anartha nivritti, he must try to become free of all unwanted attachment and offenses. Difficult stage, very troublesome, because one is going back between material experiences and spiritual happiness, back and forth. Sometimes he endeavors strongly to do devotional service, and sometimes he dives back into sense gratification. So devotees may get stuck here for a long time. They don't try to get rid of their offenses and material attachments. Now from this stage, number 4 on the chart, one grows into Nishtha. At phase Nishtha, there's firm faith in the process of devotional service in the Guru and Krishna. Becomes steady in his practices, steadily trying to become free from all the anarthas, and he's about 50% free from all the anarthas at this stage. Once he gets to that stage, things start to move a lot more rapidly because the attraction of devotion, of bhakti, generates such a great satisfaction that he moves up and he's pulled forward very quickly. So from there it goes to ruchi, where one develops a deep taste. Ashakti, where one actually becomes attached to Krishna. Bhava, one actually experiences spiritual emotions. And finally, prema, pure love for Krishna. And we can see that some of these aparads may stay with the practitioner. A tendency, we don't say they stay with it, a tendency to commit. These are aparad. Now when we say nam aparad may stay up until almost prema, it means unintentionally he may do something. We see that sometimes by accident something happens. We offend a devotee, not intentionally, but due to being unaware of the circumstances or unaware of the offense, something may happen. So these are high stages, very high stages. The causes of suffering, kleshagni, ignorance is number 1, which leads to material desires. So we're ignorant of who we really are and what our real happiness and what our real relationship is with Krishna. Then we develop material desires, and from those material desires gradually we get reactions. Sinful acts are taken on, we perform the wrong acts, and then suffering. So this is kleshagni, how the suffering develops. Again, papam, the vices in their different stages, or sins, in their different stages of development are analyzed herein. Phalan mukam, sin that is maybe present, that we're undergoing at the present stage of life. They're fully manifest. We're experiencing the reactions. Bijam, the sin is in the seedling stage, the reaction that we're going to experience soon. And it's a seed planted in our heart to do this sin again. Kutam, stage of, prior to the stage of bija, germinating stage. Aparada, everything is unmanifest, but they're stored in the house. All the different reactions are going to come. So these are all cut down by the adoption of devotional service. So from sin, then we get unmanifest reaction, then we get manifested reaction, which are suffering, like some legal problem, some financial problem, some health problem, different things. Kutam, sinful propensity, there's another type of reaction. You want to do it again. And then comes sinful desires. We actually decide, yeah, I'm going to do it. That's a good idea. And then the sin is committed. So the best means of obtaining relief from distress, devotional service is the power to actually nullify all kinds of reactions to sinful deeds. Only by Krishna consciousness can the seed of sinful desires be removed. So finally, it is the only process that can counteract all 3 causes. Suffering. Shubhada, here we get the 4 qualities, 4 features of Subhada. Benefits everyone, attracts everyone, produces good qualities, and bestows a superior happiness. Only devotional service can do this. Moksha Gutta Krit, those in pure devotion deride even the concept of liberation. Sudurlabha, pure devotional service rarely achieved. Sandra Nanda Visheshadma, pure devotional service automatically puts one in transcendental pleasure, incalculable condensed bliss. This happiness is so densely concentrated that nothing can penetrate it, no other thoughts. And the happiness of Brahmananda multiplied by 1 trillion is not one atomic drop, and it's even incalculably greater than happiness from sadhana or bhava stages. Sri Krishna Karshani, pure devotional service is the only means to attract Krishna. So again, here are these 6 characteristics. Just all a review. Any questions? Can we move forward? So today, we're going to look at sadhana bhakti. So there's 3 types of bhakti. One different, bhakti is obviously broken down in so many different ways. But here, for this discussion, we're breaking down into 3 types. Sadhana bhakti, that means regular practices. Bhava bhakti, that's more spontaneous. And prema bhakti, and pure love. That was from page 19. So this is, again, a little brief outline of what we're going to be covering in this course of Bhagavad Bhakti. Samanya Bhakti, that's what we covered up till now, the introduction, what Bhakti is all about. Now we're going to concentrate on Bhava Bhakti. Sadhana Bhakti, for chapters 2 through 16. Bhava Bhakti is given only in chapters 17 and 18. So a lot is focused on in Sadhana Bhakti, and finally Prema Bhakti in chapter 19. Let me get this here. Okay. So we can see that the big focus here in these beginning chapters is first half of Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhu is on sadhana bhakti. Why? Because that's where we're learning how to please Krishna. We're trying to become free, clear from all our offenses, and practice it correctly, and become purified. Later chapters more indicate what those forms of bhakti, how they manifest, because they, at that stages, they develop very much automatically as a result. Okay, what's going on here? What is this not going on? Okay, hang on here. Okay. So here, in sadhana bhakti, we talk about the eligibility for Krishna consciousness. Who's eligible to become Krishna conscious or take up the path of sadhana bhakti? So Prabhupada describes, he says that the devotional service is a continual process from one's previous life. No one can take to devotional service unless he has some previous connection with it. So that means when you see somebody seriously practicing devotional service, in the previous life he also had some connection with devotional service. But if there is no continuity, in other words, no previous life activity, and if only by chance a person takes interest in a pure devotee's instruction, he can be accepted and can advance in devotional service. So there is, a person can take direct interest in the pure devotee's instruction. But is there a contradiction because it sounds like attraction for bhakti is caused by bhakti in the previous life. So where does it start? One gets the seed of bhakti from a devotee's mercy, or his outreach, we may say. This is how it begins. When a devotee actually reaches out and gives someone some connection by a book, by hearing the holy name, by simply talking to him, by some prasadam, inviting him to a festival or temple or kirtan, whatever. That is actually where the connection begins. Now, we see when people come, because of previous lives, they may proceed very quickly. And others may go very slowly. It all depends a little bit on their previous life, how much credits they're bringing into this life. So the taste for bhakti is defined as attraction for sadhana. Sometimes people are a little afraid of this word sadhana because it sounds like hard work and difficult activity. And the qualification for sadhana is taste for devotional service. So the more taste we have, the more and better quality of sadhana we will develop. In other words, if one has a taste for chanting, then his quality of chanting will improve. So any question up till now on this? I hope it's not confusing. It seems a little circular. Yes?
Hare Krishna, can you hear me? This is Kumar Prabhu.
Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So Prabhuji, in that varieties of devotional service, the first one is Samanya Bhakti, which is intro.
Well, Samanya Bhakti is simply saying they're giving in the chapter 1 in the introduction, a definition about what is pure devotional service and what are the characteristics. It's talking about the book. Okay?
Okay.
Anyone else? Pashwati or other people? Any more questions? So, what it's saying here is that, sometime in the previous life, maybe we had some contact with Krishna consciousness or a devotee. And now we're being attracted again. And we're taking it up more seriously. So now the process should speed up a little bit. But that whole beginning, getting on the path, starts when the devotee reaches out and gives something to the non-devotee. A book, mantra, prasadam, anything connects them to God, even some friendship and good words. So this is so important that we're doing this outreach, because we're actually allowing people that chance to become engaged in devotional service. Otherwise, it's closed. They have no access. And you and I are all the deputies of Krishna and Prabhupada sent out to collect more souls for Krishna. Any other question?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Can you please share some ideas how devotees can reach out or share this process in this current situation?
Well, course, that's a little bit of beyond the scope of the class in one sense, but to be practical, yes. We can hold kirtans and publish them on the internet, like on Facebook. We're having these classes and our other 6 o'clock program, and we can publish them on the internet and invite people to attend them. Spread it out, advertise it widely. We have, as we should be developing our website so that people can find us, and we should focus on trying to make that very attractive and very informative and very inviting. We have our friends, our contacts. We can reach out by phone or email or whatever other form of communication we have to get in touch with them, invite them. You know, we collected so many contacts in the month of Damodar and in our previous programs, people visit, or in Janmashtami, or the Rath Yatras, which we may not have this year. And those were people that got a little taste. But now we have to invite them. Come on. Experience more so that you'll get that real seed of faith and take up this process. And then their happy life and their freedom from suffering will begin. You are all like the doctors, the ultimate doctors who have the cure for this terrible pandemic of material life, material suffering. You have the cure. And if we don't give it out, then Krishna calls us misers. We're only interested in our own health, salvation, our own happiness. And that is not as pleasing to Krishna as one who actually tries to reach out to others. Krishna really is attracted and pleased by someone who reaches out to help other conditioned souls. That's why Lord Chaitanya created this Sankirtan movement. He took it out in the streets, this chanting. He had the 6 Gosvāmīs write so many books. He insisted that we study the Bhagavatam every day. All these things are there so it can share with others. We have this great wealth of knowledge and this great cure for all their suffering. Devotional service. And if we don't give it out, we become misers. That may seem a little bit harsh, but Prabhupada says that in many places in the Bhagavatam and even in the Bhagavad Gita, that those who only are interested in their own salvation, they are misers. So we should be stretching our brains to see how we can help others, how we can reach out. And it's usually done only one person at a time. That's a good way to look at it. Just try to reach out and bring in one person at a time. Then we may be able to get more, but if we concentrate on one, then at least someone will come. So very, very important that we have this, take advantage of this, because this Krishna consciousness is all about moving forward in our developing our love for Krishna. And so that anything that's positive that helps us and that pleases Krishna, we want to really jump on that, take advantage. So let's go on a little further unless there's more question. Is that okay? Let's see. I don't know why this thing is stuck again. There it goes. So, definition of sadhana bhakti. Kriti sadhya bhavet sadhya bhavasa sadhana bidha. Krita sadhya, executed by the senses. So, it must be executed by the senses. Sadhya bhava, it requires, bhava or love is acquired. That's how we develop this love, by the sadhana bhakti. And this is what the definition is. So those activities of bhakti that are executed by our senses, or with our senses, these are the activities that help us acquire this bhava, this love for Krishna. So, action of the senses, which produces the stage of bhava or love, is called sadhana bhakti. So Prabhupada gives further definition. Practice means employing both the senses and the mind and the senses in practical devotional service. This practice is not for developing something artificial. It's a natural thing. For example, a child learns or practices to walk. This walking is not unnatural. The walking capacity is there originally in the child. And simply by a little practice, he walks very nicely. Similarly, Krishna consciousness cannot be aroused simply by practice. Actually, there is no such practice. Just made me think here about this walking capacity of the child. If you've ever had a friend or relative that has gone through some state of paralysis or, what's it called? We have a stroke. Isn't that right, people? They may lose their ability to walk. Is that true?
Yes, sir.
So when they're trying to learn to walk again, it seems extremely unnatural, because the body is just not functioning. Isn't it, people? Would you say that?
Yes, Guruji. That's when they're staying long time in the hospital or some other diseases.
Or some paralysis or stroke. They have to have special trainers to get them to move one foot in front of the other, and they have to keep practicing and practicing and practicing till the body, in essence, relearns how to walk. But a child doesn't have that much difficulty. Parents know that sometimes the child, first he learns to stand. He just kind of decides, now, okay, I can stand on my 2 feet. He sees the parents standing. He decides to stand. And then after standing for some days, he starts taking a couple of steps. And soon after that, he's walking. It's a very natural activity for the child. Not like those who have a stroke or paralysis. There it's so hard, so much effort to learn to walk again, because they've lost that capacity. So Krishna consciousness is like the child. We're learning, we're simply not practicing something that we have to learn. No, it's already there in the soul. It's part of our nature. When we wish to develop our innate capacity for devotional service, there are certain processes which, by accepting and executing them, will cause that dormant capacity to be invoked. Such practice is called sadhana bhakti. So, these processes of sadhana that we have cause us to exhibit our natural loving propensity for Krishna. and they're very important. We want to get to that stage where we actually feel love for Krishna. And that will happen by this practice of sadhana, just by accepting them and executing them. These practices will help one become cured of madness, as a man's mental disease is cured by the directions of a psychiatrist. So this sadhana bhakti cures the conditioned soul of his madness under the spell of Maya, material illusion. What is that madness? Anyone can say? Bipa, what is the madness? You're a doctor.
So this madness in our spiritual life, like our material attachment, our decreased faith, or to bring us more faith.
Yeah. The Maya is that illusion. And what is the core illusion? What is the big illusion we're all struggling with? We think we are what?
Never die.
We
The
think
body.
The body, yes. We think we are this body. And that is our illusion. So it's a madness. We've got to come out of that because it's not a fact. We're not this body. So we're believing some illusion. We're convinced of it. So when we become free of this spell of Maya, then we become cured. So the fact is that we have got devotion for Krishna. That is fact. We have it. Everyone has. The whole world. But some way or another we are separated and we have forgotten. So as soon as by this regulative principle, this practice of devotion, sadhana, by the order of the spiritual master, by the injunction of the Shastras, we begin devotional service. That just like our students do here. So Prabhupada is saying, I am training my students to practice sadhana bhakti. And then this forgetfulness, this feeling of being separate from Krishna goes away. That disease goes away. Nobody wants to be, just like this virus. Nobody wants the virus. Everybody wants it to go away. But it will only go away if everyone becomes healthy. So by practice of sadhana bhakti, we become healthy. It's called a pushing process. Devotional service is the pushing process. As soon as the energy comes, then automatically, clack, clack, clack. No more pushing. Automatically, this pushing is required. So it kind of reminds me, I don't know if you all may be too young to remember, but they used to have cars that had only manual transmission. And you could start them without a battery. I think, yeah. And what they would do is they would have to push the car until you were pushing fast enough, and then the engine would kick in and start. You remember that? Anyone remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
You remember.
Yes, and they also used to have a handle when you can rotate that to crank the engine.
Ah, yeah, even that, yeah. So that's the pushing process of devotional service. You push the car till it's going fast, and then boom, it takes off automatically. If you don't have experience of this, maybe you have to look up some video on YouTube. See if you can find how they used to push start old cars. I know I had to do it a few times, or help others do it. And yeah, that's how it worked. So The essence of sadhana is what? To fix our mind on Krishna. That's the essence. And it is the duty of the spiritual master to find the ways and means for the disciple to fix his mind on Krishna. And of course, Prabhupada says, Kirtan, Krishna Kirtan is the best sadhana to help us, at least in the beginning. That is very helpful. It is the Yuga Dharma, the process for this age of Kali. But the spiritual master must know and understand not only bhakti, but the disciple as well. So he says, you, my dear disciple, you should do like this, ABC now. And then you will fix your mind on Krishna. So like Prabhupada, he would gone to one devotee who knew a little bit about working with wood. And he said, now you carve this deity out of Jagannath. To others who learned the art of cooking, knew a little bit of cooking, he said, now you learn how to cook nicely for Krishna. Others became interested to dress the deity, and Prabhupada instructed them how to bathe and dress the deity. And others, many others, wanted to please Prabhupada, and he said, now go and sell these books, distribute them in the public. So like that, each one is engaged. How to fix the mind on Krishna. So that requires a spiritual master. Because by reading the books, we don't quite understand how to fix our mind on Krishna. But by the order of the spiritual master, now one has no choice. He must do, and that is his salvation. Now, Prabhupada gave some general rules for everyone in ISKCON. He told us we should chant 16 rounds every day. He told us we should follow the 4 regular principles. He said we should rise early every day and chant our rounds. He encouraged us to attend Mangal Arati, to hear the Bhagavatam daily, to take only Krishna Prasadam and nothing else. So he gave us many processes, many guidelines that he established for ISKCON, that are universal, that everyone should apply. And the spiritual master will certainly tell you, yes, do all those things. So, any question about all this? What is sadhana, bhakti?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
So, Prabhuji, before initiation, the process what we are doing, it's also called sadhana, or after initiation, because we don't get spiritual master's guidance or any suggestions right now?
It is also sadhana, and actually, the best recommendation is that we each have a senior person advise us, so that we can make progress towards initiation. Practically speaking, without a senior person advising and recommending us, we won't get initiation. But that practice of sadhana must go on now. From the very beginning, one should start sadhana bhakti, so that purification can begin. But that doesn't mean that we should not get initiated by a spiritual. We must. That is one of the essential steps in advancement, is to take this diksha, initiation. Make that formal commitment and that formal connection to Krishna. Does that answer your question?
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you.
You have more question about sadhana? Anyone? I mean, it's a big topic. There's 16 chapters here, or maybe 15 chapters we're going to devote on this. There are many descriptions here about what we should do and what we shouldn't do. And these are all important to know. So we can't expect to get it all today, but we're getting started. But again, this Krishna Kirtan is so important. And when we do it for the public, this is giving that seed of faith to new people. When they hear the Kirtan, they say, wow, what is that sound? I hear it, I suddenly feel different. I may feel peaceful. I may even feel a little happy. It's something I've never heard before in this world. And they may look, if they can see the faces of the devotees, and see how happy they are, chanting. And they may, in their heart, think, I want to be happy like they are. And at that point, they become a desire, springs in their heart to join the association of devotees. But we have to be like a gardener. That seed, you put it in the ground. Any gardener knows, my wife can tell you, you put the seed in, you got to give so much attention to make sure it grows nicely. If you just put it in the ground and you walk away, so many seeds will not sprout. Maybe for a long time or maybe not at all, if they don't get proper attention. So, two types of sadhana, bhakti. You'll find this very interesting. Vaidhi sadhana bhakti. The first part is called service according to regular principles. One has to follow these different regular principles by the order of the spiritual master or on the strength of authoritative scriptures. So we are given principles by Śrīla Prabhupada or by the scriptures, and we follow them. You see no mention of love here. We have to just accept them and follow them. Then there is what's called Raganuga sadhana bhakti, a very elevated form of sadhana. Another part of sadhana bhakti is called Raganuga. Raganuga refers to the point at which, by following the regular principles, one becomes a little more attached to Krishna and executes devotional service out of natural love. At this stage, no one has to tell you, oh, Prabhu, did you chant all your rounds today? Prabhu, did you go see the deities today? Or Prabhu, did you hear the Bhagavatam today? Because he has so much love and attraction that he can't live without that. He feels almost demanding. I have to have that. It's more important than eating. So obviously that's a much higher stage, but it comes by following the regular principles. Raga Marga Bhakti Loke Karite Pracharana. The Lord appeared to propagate devotional service in the world on the platform of spontaneous attraction. So no more just rituals. This is from the Adi Leela, Chaitanya Charitamrita, chapter 4, texts 15 and 16. Lord Chaitanya, he came to introduce this spontaneous, loving, devotional service. And when we read the Chaitanya Charitamrita, we see how many ecstatic emotions the Lord exhibited because of this love. He was showing us, he was demonstrating us how this love expresses on a high level of prema. That he would, so many tears would come from his eyes, he would form a big lake. Sometimes he would fall on the ground, go unconscious, and his joints would become separated by 6 inches. Nayan, do you or your wife ever hear of that? Someone's joints become separated by 6 inches of skin?
I never.
Lord Chaitanya exhibited that. Now this is not, ordinary souls will not experience this. This is the highest love. And sometimes all his limbs got pulled inside his body like a tortoise. He had such incredible transformations of his body due to ecstatic, spontaneous love. So, 2 types of sadhana bhakti. Vaidhi sadhana bhakti, no love yet. And these are inspired by the order of the spiritual master in scriptures. They say, do like this. Krishna says, whatever you do, whatever you offer, whatever you eat, whatever charity you perform, do it as an offering to me. So we hear that and say, okay, I should chant Hare Krishna, I should offer my food, I should give charity to the devotees for the worship of Krishna. Shastra says that. Then we hear the order of the spiritual master. Śrīla Prabhupada gives very specific orders. Chant 16 rounds. Hare Krishna mantra. Follow these 4 regular principles. No meat eating, no meat, no fish, no eggs, no gambling, no intoxication, no illicit sex. He says all those things. And he gives more orders after that also. So we hear the order and we say, yes, you are my teacher, you are my guide, I accept. I will follow. One must put oneself under their order. So we must voluntarily say, I put myself under the authority of the spiritual master, under the authority of the scriptures. I accept. If one does not accept, then he's not on the platform of Vaidhi sadhana. If he accepts the instruction of the spiritual master in scripture, then he can make progress. In Raganuga sadhana bhakti, attraction for Krishna has begun and eagerness develops for all forms of bhakti. So, Vaidhi sadhana bhakti, when there is no attachment, no spontaneous love for the Lord, to the Lord, one is engaged in the service of the Lord simply out of obedience to the order of the spiritual master or in pursuance following the scriptures. Such obligatory service is called Vaidhi bhakti. And we see most religions are like that. No, the scripture says that, the Bible says this, the Quran says this, Buddha says this. All them, they follow whatever their teachings are out of obedience. Smartavya satadam vishnor vishmartavyo na jatuchit. Somehow or other, always think of Vishnu without forgetting him, under any circumstance. And that is the meaning of this verse. So actually, this is the most basic of all regular principles, and within this simple order and prohibition, all regular principles are found complete. So whatever principles the spiritual master and scriptures give are to achieve this one thing, to always think of Vishnu, Krishna, and never forget him. This is the whole essence of what's being given to the disciple, to the follower, to the student. Always think of Vishnu, Krishna, and never forget him. Sarve viri nishedat syur hitayor eva kinkara If this injunction is followed, then all other rules and regulations will automatically fall into line. So in other words, if you're trying to always remember Krishna and never forget him, all the other regulations make sense. They fit. Yeah, this is, I know, I need to accept these. These are important because that's what I want to do and this will help me. All the other rules and regulations should be treated as assistant or servants of this one basic principle from Nectar Devotion. Practicing the rules of Varnashram Dharma will not produce love for Krishna. So we hear about Varnashram Dharma, and that is a very, Krishna is giving this as the orders for society. How society should be run, general society. You know, the 4 orders, brahmachari, grihastha, vanaprastha, sannyas, and the 4 ashrams. And then we have, you know, brahmana, kshatriya, vaishya, shudra, 4 occupations. But they have so many rules for each one, what you should do and not do. But that gives a civilized mode of goodness, but it doesn't produce love for Krishna. But if we take the principles of Varnashram and combine them with Guru and Shastra's order, that will protect us from falling down from the path of bhakti. So Prabhupada said, 50% of his mission that was still left was to establish Varnashram Dharma, so that his followers would be able to stay on the path of bhakti. But without the Guru and Shastra, they won't produce love for Krishna. So, there you have it. Can you do this practice and submit me your picture? Not today, but you can do it later on. Draw pictures illustrating the process of sadhana bhakti. Include in your drawing the eligibility for practice, how to practice, and the distinction between Vaidhi and Raganuga sadhana bhakti. So you might have one person doing Vaidhi and one person doing Raganuga. He's doing some practice, how he has become eligible. I mean, I'm giving too many hints. You're supposed to use your own understandings. You know, if the Guru is there in the picture, the Shastra is there in the picture. But try everyone to create this picture. This is a special exercise to help us keep it clear what all we're talking about. Any question about this exercise?
So Prabhuji, do we individually draw? You said it's a group exercise. So
group means everybody in the group has to individually do it. Go ahead.
Yeah. So so each one of us draws our own picture of, for example, the first one, the eligibility. So what would we show there? Whatever we want, or
show some process of sadhana bhakti, how the person is eligible, show how they're practicing it, and then show the difference between Vaidhi sadhana and Raganuga bhakti. So it may be several things in the picture. There may be 2 different parts of the picture, Vaidhi sadhana and Raganuga sadhana. There may be more than just one person in the picture. You have to really think about this, because now it reforms you to express your thoughts in a picture, express your understandings. How do I show in a picture somebody's eligible? How do I show in a picture somebody's practicing? How do I show in the picture that somebody's doing it from Vaidhi sadhana and some other person is doing it from Raganuga sadhana? Use what? Yeah, you can use stick figures. You don't expect it to be a super good artist, but it should be clear enough from your picture what's going on. You have any good comprehension here, what we're asking? Any question?
Yeah, so we can draw this electronically in paint or something, I guess.
Or you can draw it and take a picture with your phone and send it.
Okay.
What do you think?
Is it some kind of a...
Go ahead.
Yeah, is it some kind of a flow diagram?
Not necessarily. I think it should recognize the people in there. We're talking about individual devotees practicing. You know, I mean, if you want to say, okay, this person is doing this here and this person doing that, you know, just to make it clear, that's fine.
You can write captions on the picture.
You can put little captions or titles below the picture, what's going on. You know, you have the whole page, so you can make as many different facets to that picture as you want. Anyone else have any question? People, what do you think?
Nice explanation and some new things learned, and so far looks clear to me, Prabhuji.
It looks what?
Clear to me.
It's clear. Okay.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I have a question. Very nice class. So I'm not very good at drawing pictures, but can I copy from the Google the available ones, and then I can copy the picture, and then I will write my own words, the captions, what you noted here.
Yeah, if you want to do it that way, you can do.
Okay.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, is drawing is an assignment?
What is it?
Like, they draw the picture illustrating the process of sadhana bhakti. So
Yeah.
this will be the assignment for this class, Prabhuji?
Well, there's other assignments in the classroom that you just give you just give written response to. But this is,
Okay.
for teaching purposes, is something we're supposed to do to help you, you know, grasp the concepts and express them, you know. So, you know, the Google Classroom things are more just like, you know, just written stuff, okay? See if you can, anyway, some people even copy it right out of some document and paste it in. I don't know if they even, you know, have totally understood it or not. But this one, it's going to require your understanding to create a picture.
Is it mentioned in the homework?
Yeah, it's not listed except, I'm telling you now.
Oh, you should list it in the homework.
Now I can put it in separately as in the homework on the Google Classroom if that helps.
Yeah, because all the different things you want, it's going to be hard to remember.
Yeah. Okay. I'll put it in I'll put it as also another part of the homework. Okay.
Prabhuji, is there a deadline for this one also, like along the same homework?
This one I would hope you can do in the next 3-4 days.
Okay.
You don't have to write a lot. You don't have to hopefully you don't research a whole lot. And we're talking, you know, we haven't gone through a ton of concepts right now. We're just, what is Raganuga, what is Vaidhi, what is practice, who's eligible, and, you know, what kind of devotional practice you wanted to illustrate. Simple things, I think. Is that okay?
Yes, Prabhuji.
I mean, if it's not clear, please say now, because it's going to be much more difficult later. Let me go back and actually ask Were there any questions about Vaidhi sadhana? What is Vaidhi sadhana? What isn't Vaidhi sadhana? What is the result of Vaidhi sadhana? So what is the difference between Vaidhi sadhana and Raganuga sadhana? Can anyone say?
Prabhuji,
Yes.
Bodhisattva is following.
You're not clear. What is it?
Somebody's mic is open. Can you please mute the other devotees?
I can hear you now. Go ahead.
Okay. So Bodhisattva is the following regulative principles and instructions by Guru, ultimately to love and ruchi for Krishna, and Anuraga, Rupanuga means when there is a attachment, and that ultimately drives us to do more sadhana and bhakti.
Yes. There's a special flavor to Raganuga. What is that flavor?
Spontaneous love.
Yes. There's love and attraction. Definitely. No more just following a rule because I've been told to follow a rule, but it's actually loves. He wants.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna? Yes?
Yeah, Prabhuji. So, Vaidhi sadhana is the process of developing the love for Krishna, and Raganuga sadhana is the final, like once we develop the love for Krishna. So that's like the child is learning while the work, but once the child started working, that is a Raganuga sadhana. That is only clearly explained here actually.
So, how does one get to Raganuga sadhana bhakti?
So that is like we have to follow the spiritual master and the regulative principle in the scripture.
And what is that term to describe that process? Should be right on. Should be right on your screen there.
Continuous devotion.
It's right on your screen. What does it say? At the top.
Practice. Devotional service.
Of what? Practice of?
Practice of devotional service.
Well, no, what's
and
the...
sadhana bhakti.
What is the Sanskrit word? Practice. Vaidhi sadhana bhakti. So Vaidhi, that's the important word. The Raganuga is also called Raganuga sadhana bhakti. But it is more automatic, driven by love and taste.
What's the meaning of Vaidhi?
Practice. It's a regulative practice. Let's see if it's showing here.
I think it's coming from the root word vidhi. So we discussed that word sarve vidhi nishetasya. So vidhi means rules actually. So it comes from rules, the dhatu is vaidhi. From vidhi it becomes vaidhi.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry. Going forward. Any other question?
So does Raganuga mean spontaneous?
Yes. Raga is that emotion, that feeling. So we're being driven by our feeling, our attraction for Krishna. But Vaidhi means that we're having so many practices that we're following based on the orders. So this is how Prabhupada could introduce Krishna consciousness in the West. If people were his students, Westerners who didn't know Krishna at all, they agreed to follow the Vaidhi, the rules and regulations, then they would have gradually developed Raganuga, love for Krishna. And this is very much wanted. So as we'll get into more of the chapters on Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti, we will see how it tells us exactly what Krishna wants and what he doesn't want. Because he fine-tunes it down to many, many things that we may not be aware of. And, it also will be explained what happens if we don't follow those rules and how we overcome, or what is the process if we can't follow, we didn't follow. So many steps are there, important. Which ones are the most powerful? That will give us the biggest result the quickest. Because there are so many anarthas, there's so many aparads. There's aparads that we know against the holy name. You may have heard them, 10 in number. And then there's aparads against the deity. There's aparads against the holy Dham. There's aparads against, other living beings. There's impediments created by bhakti itself. So many things it's just amazing how Rūpa Gosvāmī has guided us step by step so we don't fall off the path and don't create unnecessary problems for ourselves. It's very, very important for us. We all want to go straight with the least amount of problems. Is anyone out there who wants lots of problems? Practicing Krishna consciousness? Please speak up. We want to make it simple, straightforward, to get to that point. And we heard in previous classes, what will be the result? Some of the results. Incalculably condensed bliss. Really? Can we even begin to imagine what that is? We can read in the life of Lord Chaitanya what his experiences were, and we can understand that those around him were just struck with wonder. And they became so attracted by him. Any other questions, concerns, clarifications?
Chant 4.
That time. Actually, we're finishing a little quickly. Any questions from the previous classes? So, what we understood today was the process. We defined and explained the process of sadhana bhakti. What is sadhana? What is the meaning of sadhana bhakti? And we explained the difference between Vaidhi and Raganuga sadhana bhakti. And then we also talked about the qualification for practicing devotional service. Anyone remember what the qualification was? Uh-oh.
Follow the regulated principles.
No, not that.
Always never forget.
What is that?
Always remember, never forget.
No, that is what is the principles. But what is the qualification to take up devotional service? At the very beginning.
Faith.
Faith? Well, sort of, but what is the...
Desire to love Lord.
No.
No, we've got to recognize that we are not the body.
No.
Actually, Prabhuji, there is no need any qualification to practice devotional service, right? Anyone are eligible.
Well, it looks like you're all struggling. The qualification is you had to practice it in your previous life. That was what we started with. And we said, well...
Yes, Prabhuji. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you said. But also, if not, still one can take the devotional service. That's what also you mentioned in the first part.
But how does that happen? What causes that to happen?
Mercy of a devotee.
What? Sorry.
Mercy of a devotee.
That's it. The mercy of a devotee. One time a devotee asked Śrīla Prabhupada, Śrīla Prabhupada, it doesn't seem that we were practiced devotional service in our previous life. We all had very bad, non-devotional lives before we came to Krishna consciousness. And Prabhupada said, were we practiced in a previous life? Prabhupada said, I created your qualification. I created your good fortune. So by Prabhupada's effort to reach out and bring in the conditioned soul, that created the good fortune for the living beings to begin this process. And can we do that? Can we reach out to others? How would we do it? Anyone has reached out recently in any way? Anyone who's helped others come to devotional service?
I asked one Mataji to join online classes. At least she don't need to drive and come for the program. She don't need to cook anything. So.
Okay, very good. Anyone else?
I asked you, one Mataji. She said yes, she will do.
Okay, very good. Anyone else who's reached out recently?
What did Krishna say there about doing?
I know that some of you were involved in something on the internet this past week or so. What was that? Dhruva Vilas? He's gone.
Yes, Prabhuji, I'm here. I'm hearing.
You said you did something last Sunday. What did you do?
No, we did it like 2-3 times, and some Mangal Aarti, some Bhagavad Gita recitation, and then Tulsi Aarti. We also chanted 108 names of Lord Chaitanya. So 2-3 times we did. It was very nice. More than like altogether, I think close to 1,000 people watched all those 3 videos. So that means at least they got darshan of deities, and so that was very encouraging. And yes.
Very good. I think some others, Bhashwati, maybe Sujoya Mataji, you've also reached out.
Yes, Prabhuji, today I posted one bhajan of Narottam Das Thakur to the Seva group, and I am not in the Facebook, so I just posted the recorded bhajan to the Shiva group and also the Bengali Satsang group.
Okay. Very good. Bharti, have you done anything? Bharti, are you there? I think she's there. I'm not hearing her. Anyway, every day we have a 7 p.m. a Bhagavad Gita discussion on Zoom. Bharti is organized, right, Bharti? Not hearing her. And inviting other students to participate. And as a result, at least we have for sure one girl who comes every day, Toshita, and some others that come from time to time. So I encourage you all to take advantage.
Bharti is trying to talk, but something we can't hear her because I saw your screen. She is talking. She's
talking, but I'm not hearing.
I think so. I saw that.
I see some light on her name there, but I don't hear any sound. I don't know if
she just sent a message of saying yes.
Oh, you want to read the message?
Yes, Prabhu. The message, she said yes, and she's trying to talk but could not. Some problem with her mic.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yes.
Oh, I see what it is there. I'm trying, but not able to talk. Anyway, we gave some description what happened there. And I encourage you all, even though we're in this lockdown situation, stay-at-home situation, we're all learning how to use the internet more and more for communication and expression and important activities. So we should take advantage of that and experience that. So, yeah, Bharti said she's even doing a second meeting at 8 a.m. every morning now. And she's trying to read a chapter a day of Krishna book with her parents every day. Very good. So, I encourage those of you who have not done your assignment for last week to please enter in and do it. Those of you who maybe would like to start going on Google Classroom, and if you don't know how to, send me a message. If you do know how and you haven't done yet, please try, because it just increases your understanding and the quality of your experience here. I've seen that, if someone just listens to a lecture or just watches a video, they remember for maybe a few minutes. But if you actually have multiple ways that you have to recall and participate, and that learning experience that really cements it in your brain and makes it very hard to forget. So that's why we're using these different types of actions like homework and other things, and these group exercise to try and help it feel in our concepts in our brain so that we've really got it. Now, because these are not something you can read in the newspaper or, find out in other books other than ones Prabhupada has written. So we want to get it as Prabhupada delivered it, so that we get the result Prabhupada has offered and that the 6 Gosvāmī, especially Rūpa Gosvāmī, is offering. So is there any other questions or comments? Otherwise we can close off for today. And thank everyone. This recording will now be posted also. So anyone who couldn't attend, they can listen to the recording. I think, what is his name? Akant is trying to put these recordings and slides into a video format for me, and we can post on YouTube. So we can share it more ways in the future with others. Thank you, everyone. Until we meet again, Hare Krishna. Jai Śrīla Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.